Hey, it's Dave Brown here, host of Now with Dave Brown on AMI. Check out this latest highlight from the show.
CNIB's Lake Joe season is underway. Emilee Schevers is juggling camp season, working at the camp with preparing for Miss Personality Canada. Emilee is also juggling being the founder of True Faces. Hey, good morning, Emilee.
Good morning.
I said you're someone who wears a lot of hats, and there's no doubting that one. Emilee, I've got a question to ask you about Lake Joe. It's very specific. It came up on the show last week as the heat wave was going through the Muskoka region of Ontario. And Alex Smythe talked about how you couldn't just jump in the lake to cool down because the heat would have made the water too warm. But I tried to put my Muskoka knowledge to the test to say it takes a little while for the lake to properly get warm in the summer. So you were there last week. The heat wave was rolling through. What was it like plunging into the water?
You know what, Dave? I gotta side with you on this one. Usually, like if you were talking about a pool, a small body of water, then yes, that would be the case. But of the Muskoka lakes, Lake Joseph is one of the deepest, which means it takes a really long time for it to heat up. So it was very refreshing last week. Usually it's colder come like the end of June, but we've had a lot of warm days that have warmed it right up to like a perfect temperature. I couldn't tell you exactly what it is, but it was the perfect, like refreshing temperature where it wasn't cold or hot.
I demand you go out there with a thermometer and give me a daily lake update, Emilee. How'd you guys hold up during the heat wave last week? I know it's tough out there.
It was tough, especially being in a place that doesn't have air conditioning. We were using all of the cooling techniques that we could think of. We had every fan plugged in, and the lake was honestly probably the saving grace for the week.
All right, Emilee, let's talk about something else that's keeping you busy besides just working on site at Lake Joe. You have been doing the personality pageant circuit for a while, and you're getting ready for this year's Miss Personality Canada. It's your first year doing it in person. How are you feeling at this stage?
Oh my goodness, you're definitely right with having to juggle all of these hats. Sometimes I forget that it's even happening, and then other days I'm like so engrossed in it that I'm overjoyed. But there's a lot of prep that's happening behind the scenes to make sure that it kind of goes okay.
What do you have to put together? What's the preparation process like?
So there's a couple requirements for the pageant that do need to be submitted beforehand, one of which being an intro video. So I actually spent a day last week going around with one of my coworkers who actually did a minor in film photography. And so she was helping me, film this intro video that is kind of telling the judges who I am. I used camp to my benefit. I'm going to actually finish it by taking a video jumping off of our water inflatable with a GoPro. So I'm kind of getting a little creative with it, as well as trying to get some runway practice in. A hallway in a cabin has never been more helpful for walking up and down in a pair of heels.
So because this is your first time doing it in person, I'm curious how that's changing your preparation.
Yeah, when it comes down to the in-person versus virtual, the intro video is something that I'm very familiar with because it was something I had to do for all of the virtual pageants. So I immediately had my creative hat on. I knew what I wanted to do. But something like the heels practice, I didn't really have to do before because I just filmed enough takes that it looked good in. And it was kind of I could do it multiple times when I was filming it and then edit it to make it look the way that I wanted when I was filming videos for virtually. Now I'm practicing with the idea in mind that like I have to, find my balance in wearing heels because, you only get one shot on stage and, you're in front of all of these people. And it feels like there's a lot more pressure, especially with the walking part on a stage with bright lights when I know that I'm not going to be able to see as well. And balancing in heels with lack of vision has proven to be way more complicated than I ever thought it would be.
You talk about the lighting situation and being in person to do it. How does that end up impacting your state of mind going into it, that you're not just thinking about makeup or dress or presentation, but actually thinking about some pretty straightforward logistics that maybe other competitors don't have to think about?
Yeah, it's coming right down to like the safety of it and being on stage, making sure that I'm not going to walk into the podium or fall off the stage, which it seems like a fear that most people have, but it's kind of in a different capacity for me. So, being able to chat with the organizers about like getting some extra stage practice time, it comes down to counting your steps and getting the muscle memory of how far you need to walk because people say bright lights are great because you can't see the crowd. And I'm like, the bright lights are kind of not great because I can't see anything.
Emilee, where is the event this year?
So in August, I will be flying to Calgary, Alberta.
Nice.
I'll be there from the 7th to 11th. We will do 2 shows, a preliminary and a final, as well as some activities. I hear there's a limo party which will take us kind of around Calgary, maybe some sightseeing. And yeah.
So that implies flight, hotels, food, expenses. What are you doing in terms of fundraising for this?
Well, I've started with doing a 50-50 raffle fundraiser through social media, which is contributing to my fundraising score. But I was also very lucky this year that being a previous title holder, I worked with the organizers to get my registration fee paid for.
Nice.
Which is incredibly helpful. And I think they understand that for the disability community and wanting to have that representation that they were willing to make those accommodations. And that's why I stand by this system so much, because I know that they are looking for that authentic representation and are willing to make it happen.
50-50 raffle. You're talking my language here. You're hitting my my gambling tooth. What are some of the details on the 50-50 if people want to get involved?
So we have a kind of grid of 100 squares. Each square is $5. You can pick your favorite numbers. And on July 17th, I'm going to do a random number picker. And if your number is picked, then you will get half of the proceeds raised. If all of the squares get sold, that can be up to $250.
Oh, I just engaged in a 50-50 for a fundraiser in Montreal not long ago. So the itch is being scratched here, Emilee. I'm going to check out your Facebook after the show to try and track this down. Emilee, listen, I think you and I are going to chat between now and then. So I'm not going to tell you best of luck just yet, but good luck with the training and have fun at camp.
Thank you so much.
That's Emilee Schevers, the founder of True Faces.
Do you want to dive into more conversations like this? Watch Now with Dave Brown weekdays at 9 a.m. Eastern on AMI TV or download the podcast wherever you listen.